It's a really wet Thursday morning here in Buriram at Chang International Circuit, but there's a real significance to this morning. We're in the last couple of days of October, and finally the 2020 Thailand Super Series season is underway. Behind me is a Bentley Continental Gt3. It's the biggest car on the grid. It's also one of the fastest and the most potent, and it's got to be one of the favourites for the title. Come Boom raced this to the title a couple of years ago, and he's back in the car this year, driving for AAS with Kumbutikon alongside, who's a multiple former champion. So this is a very strong driver lineup. It's a strong, fast car. The team is strong. They know how to win titles. They've won enough of them. Everything looks good for them. The only possible thing is the Bentley's going a little bit long in the tooth now, but they should be able to deal with this. This is a very strong package, and they should really be looking good to make a strong run for the title over these couple of weekends coming up. B-Quik Racing swept up last year. They won all three Super Car GT3 titles, drivers overall, drivers amateur, and the team's titles are 3 out of 3, and they want to keep all three titles. So they've juggled their driver lineup very slightly. Sandy now in the number 1 car because he won the title. He gets Daniel as his partner. Daniel raced with Henk for the last couple of years, but he now switches over with Sandy. So that's a silver bronze Pro-Am driver lineup that's quick and solid and in a good position to retain the titles. Meanwhile, Philip, the 2018 TA2 Thailand champion, he moves into the team for the first time to partner Henk in the number 26 car. Philip is a quick driver, he's fast, he adapts quick, but he hasn't driven a GT3 before, so he's got a bit of work to do to get used to the car and get up to speed. But expect a lot of him. He's a quick driver, he can handle it, and he can make an impression this weekend. So B-Quik have got two really well-rounded, solid driver lineups that can get the job done. And they've got to be the team to beat by dint of winning the titles last year. They're the ones everyone's got to beat. Behind me you can see the two Singha Motorsport Team Thailand Ferraris. They were new into the series last year. They're pretty quick cars, they're really bang on the nail, and they've got a very good, very well-rounded driver lineup. They didn't quite make it to getting into the title hunt last year. They ended the season with a win in the last race of the season, but they didn't quite put it together to really hammer it home for the championship. So expect them to want to make amends this year, and expect them to really be pushing for the title. In the number 89 car they got Kun Boravut, who's a former TSS champion, with Carlo Van Dam, who's a former top international pro driver, who really, when he was a young driver, was one that was talked about to make it all the way to Formula 1. Now he's racing with this team, and that's a really good driver lineup. In the second car they got Kumpiti and Kumbank. Kumpiti again is an experienced Thai driver. He's raced in a lot of stuff for many years. He's won a lot of things. Kumbank is one of the top young Thai drivers, and he's a former TSS champion as well. So you've got a really good, really well-rounded driver lineup that should be able to go for the title this year, and that's what they're going to be looking at for sure. There's two Lamborghini Huracan GT3s in the paddock this weekend, and this is the one that's being driven by two brothers, Kunsaran and Kungi. They're both pretty quick, they're both very experienced with his car, so they're going to be looking at knocking on the title as well. Kunsaran came from drift racing. He came into TSS in 2014 with a Porsche Cup car. He changed his driving style, he learned the ropes, and he was really quick. In 2016 he swapped up to a Huracan Trofeo, and he promptly won the title. He literally walked away with the title from race 1. No one could get near him, and he wrapped up the title with ease. So he really wants another one. Kungi took a slightly different route. He came into racing a little bit later on. He jumped straight into the Huracan. So he had a bit of work to do to get up to speed, but he got stuck in. He learned the car, he learned racing, and now they're both a very well-rounded driver lineup. They both raced abroad in the Lamborghini Super Trofeo and other races, so they've got a lot of experience behind them, and they should be dark horses for the title as well. They should really be able to stick this car in a good position and look to be getting towards P1. The other Lamborghini Huracan GT3 is the number 28, and everyone in Thai racing knows number 28. That's Kunchonsavat's racing number. He's one of the most experienced veterans in Thai motorsport. He won the Super Car GT3 driver's title overall 3 years ago, and he really knows how to race. Behind me you can see the Amg Gt, and this is a real dark horse of the weekend. The Amg Gt is one of the best GT3 cars out there. It's not been seen in Thailand Super Series before. In fact, it's the first time we've ever had a Mercedes GT3 car, because the SLS before it never came into TSS. So it's a really exciting car to have here. The car is really quick. The two drivers have both got pace, but they're not experienced with GT3 cars, so this is a big step up for them. But they're both quick drivers, and they're both ones that can adapt and learn quickly. So remains to be seen what they'll do. Toyota, as usual, have got real strength in numbers and a big lineup. They've got cars in GT3, GTM and GTC, and as usual they're looking to make a splash. In GT3 they've got the car that they used to run in Japanese Super GT. Kun Sutipong will lead the lineup there, and Kun Mana will join him. This car, the Lexus, it's never been quite on the pace in GT3. Don't expect it to be looking for wins, but expect it to be looking to knock on the podium. GTM, they won the title last year with the Lexus that runs in the GTM class. Expect them to be looking for the title again this year. While in GTC they've got the new Supra. That's a really nice looking car. It's got a really wide body kit. It looks menacing and purposeful. It's built in Thailand. It's all built using their own Thai mechanics and their own IP. So it's a really cool car, and this is going to be a big favourite with the fans. Even if it doesn't win on its debut, it's going to be very popular. A lot of Thai people are going to be looking out and following this car this weekend. Behind me you can see the Cayman of Compete, and this has got to be one of the cars to look out for in GTC. He won the title in GTC a couple of years ago. He's taken a bit of time out from racing, but now he's back this year. The car's quick, the driver's quick, so it's a really good all-round package. He wants another title, he's going to be gunning for that, and he's got to start as one of the top favourites in GTC for certain. This is definitely going to be one of the interesting cars to look for this year. This is Greg Bennett's new car. He's stepping up from TA2 into GTM with a Porsche 991. He's bringing his familiar black and purple colours with him, and he's got a good turn of speed. He's got Jack Lambard with him, and Jack has always been one of the top Thai drivers, but he's also mixed his career with too much karting, and he's never really got that far. Jack's in the last chance saloon again. He's right behind me here now. He's got another opportunity to really nail it and really do something. So let's see where these two can go. Jack hasn't changed too much. He's eating an apple, which is pretty unusual, but it's all looking pretty good for them. They should be one to look out for this year, that's for sure. getting away from the sports cars of GT3 and GTM and looking what else is around the rest of the paddock. And this Ford Ranger Raptor, which is racing in Super pickup, absolutely stands out a mile. It's brand new. It's been built by Craig Corliss, the guy behind TA2, with the input of Ford Thailand, and they have poured time, money and love into this project, and this truck just looks fantastic. It's so beautiful, in fact you feel like it should go straight into a museum, not out onto a racetrack where it's going to get scuffed or battered or knocked. It just looks absolutely the part. They have put every effort into building this project. The diff has come from the US, the engine's been built in Thailand. It really looks beautiful, and they've drafted in Sandy Stuvik, the 2019 Super Car GT3 champion, to drive. Sandy's one of the fastest young drivers around, and if anyone can unlock the potential of this truck, he can. Behind me you can see a really exciting new project. It's been 2 years in the making. They've been planning this for a long time. They've been running the old cars until now, but they finally just finished this car. In fact, the finishing touches are just being put to it today. There's a real smell of fresh paint. They were spraying it this morning, and they're working on everything here. It's going to be this weekend. It's really going to just be about shakedown, getting some testing, getting some kilometers on the car, and looking forward to next season and really mounting a challenge for the title with this new generation Civic. It's got Kunvalabut's name on the door, so I'm not sure whether he's going to be testing it this weekend, but certainly this is going to be one to look out for as we want to see what sort of lap times it can start to put out. But it isn't going to be anywhere near its full potential, but hopefully we can get an idea of where it's going to stand and how much of a shake-up it's going to make in the Thailand touring car field.